It's the end of the year and everybody is making their picks for Game of the Year. We're all eager to show off our great gaming tastes by letting our friends know how much we loved Baldur's Gate 3, Alan Wake 2, or a game that makes you feel like Spider-Man. Oh, and you also have to make a really big show out of rejecting Starfield. I'm not really sure why. 2023 was an important year for the Final Fantasy franchise, seeing its first full-on numbered entry in the better part of a decade. While there was a little controversy in the hardcore community about whether this game meets the criteria to be the next mainline Final Fantasy, there are a few that denied FF16 was a well-made and satisfying experience. An impactful story, memorable characters, epic scope, a very good boy, and the best Cid ever? ? I played it start to finish and absolutely loved it. Look at how good this puppy is. So, my 2023 Game of the Year is not this. I don't know why I drew that out so much. You saw the thumbnail. There was another Final Fantasy game released in 2023. One that most everybody just kind of forgot about. It's Theatrhythm. My Game of the Year is Theatrhythm. Look, if there's one unifying element that can always bring together everybody in a bitterly divided fan base, it's agreement that every Final Fantasy has incredible music. Theatrhythm is a delightful, holistic celebration of this sprawling series and its consistently stellar soundtracks. It's very rare to see a game series reach its perfect form, but that's exactly what we saw with Theatrhythm Final Bar Line this year. The Final Fantasy rhythm game had humble beginnings as a 3DS touchscreen game. I first discovered it with the 3DS sequel, Curtain Call, which thankfully added button controls and broadened out the library to include music beyond the main series. Even Mystic Quest. More music, more characters, better controls. I logged an outrageous number of hours into Curtain Call. My only disappointment with the game is that it had the misfortune of being released before Final Fantasy XV and its top-notch soundtrack. This was in 2014, and as the years passed and the Switch replaced 3DS, it looked less and less likely that we would ever see a new Theatrhythm game. Okay, legally I'm obliged to mention that there was an arcade game in 2016, but I have never seen nor played it. I'm sure it's real, but I'm just saying I haven't seen any actual physical evidence to confirm it. But even including this supposed arcade game, it was still a long enough wait that it looked like that might be it for the series. I dreamed of a Switch entry that included all the music and DLC from Curtain Call, but with music from Final Fantasy XV and the upcoming FF16. So imagine the literal screaming I was doing when I was watching the September 2022 Nintendo Direct.
It's a musical blast from the past.
And they announced exactly that thing. And if that's all it was, it certainly would have been enough. But Indie Zero stepped it up and took Theatrhythm to the next level. It leveled up. That's a Final Fantasy term. The most significant change is that Final Bar Line ramps up the complexity from the 3DS games. Moving to consoles means they left the 3DS touchscreen controls behind, which allows them to demand multiple button presses at once. It adds a whole new dimension to the gameplay that significantly ups the difficulty. On top of that, a lot of modes also add missions to each song, like clear the song without healing or activate 10 abilities. This really spotlights one of the more minor elements of previous games, the characters. Just like in Final Fantasy RPGs, each character levels up to improve their stats and gain new abilities. In the past, this didn't have a huge impact on your game. Healers could keep you alive when you were struggling, and sometimes the Curtain Call Adventure mode would demand you kill a boss enemy. It was mostly just set dressing for pressing the buttons at the right times. With these added objectives, real strategy comes into play when choosing your party. I have different team presets for maximum physical damage, maximum magic damage, or all healers. The rhythm game itself doesn't change, but there's added stakes to hitting every last note, and another wave of satisfaction when your mission complete stamp appears. These objectives are optional for most of the quest mode, but when you clear every world, it unlocks an endless mode that requires completing the song and the objective to continue. It's not easy. There are a lot of small details here that elevate the experience above just a well-designed rhythm game and into the best game of the year. The only things I feel are missing from this jam-packed game are FF16 characters. We got the music as DLC, but I can't add Clive or Torgal to my party, and that's really a tragedy. He's such a good boy! I would also love to see a return to the Curtain Call Adventure mode, but I know that's no small request, and what's here is still great. The best game of 2023. Also, I wrote this comment a couple of years ago that said if I got this exact game, it would be my game of the year. And I am no liar!